We do continue to follow the latest on the Boeing strike. Aircraft assembly workers walked off the job early Friday at Boeing factories near Seattle and elsewhere after union members voted overwhelmingly to go on strike and reject a tentative contract that would have increased wages by 25% over 4 years. Jessica Kriegel is a chief strategy officer of workplace culture for Partners, and she joins us now on live now from Fox to just talk a little bit more about this. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just break down what's been going on the past 24 to 48 hours or so here. They went on strike. Can you explain why and what they're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, the union workers are fighting for the future of Boeing. They feel like the culture has suffered significantly over the past many years, and they're fighting for the culture of Boeing. It's not just about pay. They do want an increase in pay. That's part of it, obviously. They want their pensions back, but they also want to reinvigorate the safety culture that once existed at Boeing, and they want production back in Seattle. So this is a multifaceted issue that the union workers are fighting for, and the executives are going to have to speak to many different issue points if they're going to get to a deal.
Can we expect this to delay the production of any Boeing aircraft?
Well, it depends on how quickly this strike can get resolved. A Jefferies analyst said that this is going to cost Boeing $1.5 billion for every 30 days that the workers are on strike. And it does have the potential to delay production. The impact to the traveler and the consumer, to you and me, is going to not be felt until maybe next year during peak summer travel. But ultimately, this is a problem for Boeing. They want to get a deal hammered out as quickly as possible. That's actually a quote from the CFO of Boeing saying, we got to get to the table and hammer out a deal. Everyone wants a deal to become too quickly because the union workers want to get back to work. The executives want to get back to work. It's just a matter of what do we need to agree to in order for that to happen.
So then what comes next in terms of talks and negotiations?
Well, according to them, they're going to be back at the table early next week having these negotiations. And this has got to do with much more than just compensation, right? I mean, if ever there was a question about whether culture drives results, this is the quintessential case study that shows you that it absolutely does. And I have a lot of hope for Boeing, actually, because of the new CEO. Long time ago, Boeing was known as an engineering powerhouse. And then with the acquisition of McDonnell Douglas in '97, it turned into a company that was only really focused on profitability and stock price. And they want to go back to being that engineering powerhouse. The new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, has an engineering background. He spent his first day on the job, which was only 6 weeks ago, walking the floor. He is exactly what the organization needs to get back to its safety culture, its engineering culture. And that culture is what got results at Boeing, not only focusing on the stock price. And so I think that they're going to be able to come to a deal. And I think the future of Boeing has the potential to be bright, even though right now they are highly unstable.
You just touched on this a little bit, but comparing this, as this is a union, these union workers walked off the job. If we think back to the SAG-AFTRA strike, the entertainment industry, that strike went on for quite a bit. I know these are two very different industries, but could we see a similar thing happen here in terms of a timeline?
It's possible, but think about where these workers are. They're in Seattle. The average compensation for these machinists is $20 to $28 an hour. And the cost of living in Seattle is high, and it's getting higher. Think about who's employed around them. These are the headquarters for Amazon and for Microsoft. And the average compensation for people working at Amazon and Microsoft is much higher than $20 to $28 an hour. And so they're having trouble paying for basic needs in their lives. And that's why they're saying the 25% increase that was offered by Boeing isn't enough. They just can't afford to live in Seattle. And they want production back in Seattle because that is where the culture and the heart of Boeing exists. So it's a different situation because of the geographic location and the situation around them with the other competitors that exist there.
Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to this that you think I might have missed?
Well, here's what I would say to all of the CEOs that are out there. Culture drives results. The culture that you create means business. It means the results that you are creating. And culture is not about ping pong tables and touchy feely trust falls. It has to do with the way that people think and act. And the way that people think and act at Boeing has consequences both for productivity, for profitability, and for the end consumer. So this is at its heart a culture issue. And ultimately, they're going to get results if they're able to shift the culture, which I think they will be able to.
Jessica, thank you so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. Appreciate your insight.
Thanks for having me.